And yep, we are live, so let's go ahead and play this. Yep,
shake, 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 shake it off, shake it off.
Woo! Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm talking about. We are definitely alive here. Whoa, hello. Yo, somebody's missing. Yo, where Tony at, man? Tony Millones at? What he knew for a fact today was the day that I call him out. He said, and if you guys remember, look at our last podcast. He definitely said the Dodgers would lose 3-1 to the Padres. I said it was going to be 3-2 Dodgers. Ladies and gentlemen, 3-2 Dodgers. They move on to the NLCS against the Mets, against these so-called almighty Mets, the grimace Mets, and apparently they're up 2-1, and he still has absolutely no faith in them. I continue to have faith in them, but he told me you guys are going home in the first round in the divisional series. We are still alive, ladies and gentlemen. Dodger blue all the way. What is going on? Why is he not here? Hey, look, I have a little drink. Salud, my friend. I know you're not there. I know you're in spirit, but cheers, because the Dodgers are in the NLCS and only 2 games away, so a little Crown Royal for you, my friend. I know you might be a little upset, my brother. I know you're a little clear on the chest. No red shirt today. No red cap. I wonder why, because it's all blue today. All blue today. Doesn't matter. How's it going, my friend? It's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, I heard enough of that shit.
Look at this. Just a little. It wasn't a lot, my brother. It was just just making sure the camera captures those.
Hey, Tony Millones is live and well. He is. Tony Millones is not dead. He did not fall off. He did not jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Contrary to popular belief, Tony Millones did not jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay. No, I'm still here. I'm still kicking.
World Series. I think he might do it. I don't know where, but I think he might jump off a bridge.
Well, I might climb it, but somebody might stop me. They might, start talking me down.
So I'm gonna stop you, bro. I'll stop you just because I love you.
You'll chase me down. You got a head start. You're in Fresno, so you'll probably stop me at some point.
I know. I'll catch you halfway in Los Baños.
I mean, for the record, it's not that I don't want to wear the Angels hat. It's just it's a lot easier to make the Dodger haters, my haters, obviously, or whatever you want to call these pussies. It's a lot better to make them get creative when it comes to talking shit. That's all it is. Because then, if they don't see the Angels hat right away, they'll scroll down and look for my team. And once they find all the clips I have of me walking the Angels gear, so they have to go see other clips and hear. It's all strategy, all right? These guys are dumb. They're fucking idiots. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it, brother, because we gotta read a lot of shit to get through. So this was Silos' intro. Obviously, you heard that shit. It was pretty funny. Oh, I'll give him that. But let's go ahead, brother. You kind of already recapped that obviously the Dodgers won in 5 games and they beat the Padres to do it. But go ahead and give your thoughts on that series real quick. I'll cover whatever you miss, and then we'll move on to recap the rest of the series that led us to the National League Championship Series between, obviously, the Dodgers and the Mets, and then the Yankees and the Guardians. So go ahead, brother. Take it, the Dodgers-Padres real quick, and then I'll...
So just really quick, Dodgers-Padres, and I hate to say this, especially because I hate San Diego, and I've mentioned it here before. I do hate San Diego. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But Game 5 was an epic game. It was all pitching. There was great pitching. Obviously, the Dodgers shut it out. And there was 2 missed pitches, which Kike Hernandez and Teoscar Hernandez took advantage of and took it long ball. But other than that, it was well played by both ends. The funniest part of this whole situation was I, as a fan, have been getting, some of these haters, like Tony Millones, and there's other haters out there that will talk to me and tell me stuff, and they're like, hey, you guys aren't going anywhere. you have zero pitching. No starting pitchers are gonna win. And guess what? Yeah, you say no starting pitchers, but 33 consecutive shutout innings to tie the record. It could have been 34, but yeah, Lindor said otherwise. But other than that, I mean, hats off to the Padres. As much as I hate them, Game 5 was, I mean, it was a hell of a game. I mean, they really didn't do shit in Game 4. You know, to take the Dodgers won that one 8-0. But Game 5, man, like I said, Yu Darvish, he did a phenomenal job. He always does great against the Dodgers. I think the most runs he's allowed to the Dodgers since leaving the Dodgers has been, I believe, 4 runs. And I mean, granted, he only allowed 2 runs. And in a typical MLB game, technically you should win that automatic. But you know, his starting 3, you know, Profar, Tatis, and Machado didn't do shit. You know, all that shit talking, all that blah blah blah, all that hoopla, like, hey, it went all that down the drain, you know. And you know, my hat's off to the majority of the Padres, and I say this because at the end of the game, you know, the majority of the other team typically stands there, you know, will kind of tip their hat to the other players while they're celebrating. You know, they'll sit there. The only 3 players that were missing were exactly those: Profar, Tatis, and Machado. They walked off. You know, everybody else was kind of there. I mean, obviously they were sad. You know, they weren't happy. I mean, no team would be. But again, it was a great series, 5-game series. It was a divisional rivalry. So now they moved on and against the Mets, who nobody saw getting out of Philly. I mean, even Tony Millones over here thought Phillies had it. However, I'm a little screwed right now because, as you guys recall, I said the Mets will win because those who have beat the Brewers have gone on to at least make it to the World Series. And currently, I mean, it's still alive because they got past the Phillies, the number 1 team in the league, and the Mets were pretty much the last team in. They're the 6th team, but they made it past them, and it was pretty much pitching and hitting, a little bit of all-around game. Now they're going up against the Dodgers. Game 1, you know, Dodgers won that game. Game 2, Mets pulled off in that game, and Game 3, well, pitching showed up again. Buehler, who has not showed up all year at all, like I honestly was scared for this game, and I was praying to God that he got at least 4 innings, because I think the last outing he was maybe 2 or 3 innings, and he allowed, I believe, 6 runs. And that was his MO. But you know what? I stuck with it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe some miracle happened, and guess what? He showed up. I mean, he only had 5 Ks in 4 innings pitched, but he allowed 0 runs. You know, then the bullpen came in and again shut it out. So I don't want to hear it anymore. The Dodgers ain't got pitching because they got a damn bullpen that is ready to shut the mouth out of everybody. But that's it. I will let you go on about the National League, and then we'll move on to the AL.
Okay, let me comment real quick on Dodgers Padres, and we can move on to the rest of the whole rest of baseball, because it's going to be a heavy baseball episode again. It's playoff baseball. It's October. Y'all already know what it is. We fuck with baseball on this podcast, unlike majority of sports. I mean, today Stephen A. dropped a little Yankees in 7 against the Mets, Game 7, whatever, a prediction. And got, of course, you Dodger fans had to just open your mouth and comment that Stephen A. don't know shit. So, see, I'm not the only one that gets comments that I don't know shit. So even guys like Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, all these guys also said that they don't know shit. Even Cam Newton, I'm sure, gets it too. And everyone knows, if you know ball, that Cam knows a lot about the game.
Bro, he wild though.
Yeah, I bet he is. I actually haven't listened to him, but I just know. I mean, come on, he played fucking QB he was an MVP. So, anyways, so my thing with the Padres is obviously, like, you know, they just fucking decided to 180 on my ass and just prove me the fuck wrong, which really pissed me off. After I went on my little spiel about how they're dogs and how you don't want to get them riled up, they proceeded. So here's how it went down. After a 6-run inning in the bottom of the second in Game 3, right? Game 3, they scored 6 runs in that one inning. They failed to score a fucking run. This is where it began. In the second inning of Game 3, they would fail to score a run for the rest of the series for 24 consecutive innings. All right. The extra 9 that Cielos brought up to make it 33 was obviously Game 1 against the Mets. So we got Game 4. This is still Dodgers. See, I keep adding them together. Just make a super team. Game 4, they lost 8-0. There's really not much to say, man. I mean, after that it was Game 5 where they lost 2-0. Now I gotta credit the Dodger bullpen. As much as y'all think I just hate all the time, I obviously pay respect. I mostly hate the Dodger fans, not the actual Dodgers. Even Shohei Ohtani, I pay respect. Ask Cielos himself whether or not I pay the respect to the man. Cielos, did I boo Shohei at Angel Stadium?
No,
did I boo him or no?
You praised him for the years that he gave the Angels. I give you that much.
Exactly. See, so I don't hate. Honestly, I don't think I hate a single Dodger. Shit, whenever Freddie Freeman came up with his son, I paid respect. I don't know why you have that blue one. But I paid respect to Freddie. I wish Freddie well with his injury. I did not want to see him injured. And to be honest, most of the Dodgers, I mean, they're all pretty fucking likable. It's just your fan base that doesn't know how to act. All right, y'all act like children, and like the Beverly Hills of baseball. And that's gonna be my thing from now on. I'm just gonna keep running that shit into the ground. Just know it came from me. Don't even me on this is the one that when it goes big, you know who it came from. But anyways, yeah, the bullpen, man. It's like Cielos mentioned, locked it down after the Game 2 meltdown where they gave up 6 runs. It's almost like I don't know, so a light flipped, and they just proceeded to say, fuck this shit, we're not giving up no more runs. And technically, Game 2 was a bullpen game, so they finally got cracked, and they actually started, and we'll get into it because I do want to recap this series before we actually move. I just wanted to finish up the divisional before we move on to the championship series. I'll finish this up. So, obviously, I was one of the people, Cielos said, that was talking shit on the Dodgers pitchers, okay? Because I was right. I was right at first, right? What was I saying, right? Flaherty was shaky. We saw what happened against the Padres at first. Same thing with Yamamoto. Both of them got cracked. I'll wrap up my Buehler talk with this. If you saw him pitch, which I did, he was very strategic. I love strategy when it comes to anything. So what he was doing was he was throwing that fucking sweeper on the bottom left. Okay, he was continuously throwing it there. Obviously, he would switch it up every now and then, but he would continuously throw it there, and he was willing to give up the balls, right? Because most of the time they weren't hitting the zone. Sometimes they would. He would hit the strike. But, you know, he was hitting that bottom left corner. And then, you know, if he would give up a walk, that's fine. Because eventually he would switch it up and he would get that strikeout. Because he had a couple strikeouts. And if they made contact, it fell short. I don't know what it is, man. But, like, multiple games now I've seen, you know, big hits and then they just fall short. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's luck on your side. I don't know. But there's a couple big hits that I'm just like, damn, that's got to go. That's got to go out. And it falls just short. I swear it happened like 2 or 3 times in this game. And, you know, I'm not going to make excuses. You know, you guys are in-play out we call them in-play out merchants, right? Because they just, you know, they get the contact and then it falls short. And that's how they get their outs. But, yeah, credit to Buehler for really working that sweeper. And at some point, you know, what they would do is they would chase the fastball and he would get them. You know what I mean? Because once that sweeper wasn't there, they would swing and then, you know, they would miss. So that's kind of what I noticed when it came to that because I was wondering, why does Buehler keep throwing that sweeper? It's hitting outside the zone, and eventually he would get him to chase it. Credit to Buehler for sure. And then Yamamoto in Game 5 obviously went 5 innings, only giving up 2 hits, very impressive. He gave up no runs obviously because it was 2-0, so no runs were allowed in that game. And then I wanted to mention that Game 4 there were some hits from the Padres, but when it came down to it, they just could not bring anybody home. Multiple times they left runners stranded on base. Machado went 0-4. Okay, in a game where they should have closed it out at Petco and proved me right, which is what really upset me more than anything else. And some people thought I was a Padres fan. I'm like, man, obviously you don't know shit because I'm not a Padres fan. I just want to see the Dodgers fail. And I wanted to mention, because I mentioned this on my story, the Dodgers looked ice cold in this game. Like they were on a mission the entire time. Like you saw their faces in Game 4 against the Padres. They were just like locked in, no emotion whatsoever. Not even when they got strikeouts, they were just like, we're on business here. We're not fucking around, right? And I respect that. I always like that. And then Game 5, you mentioned Tatis, Profar, Machado. Well, Jackson Merrill, who is a rookie this year, did not record a single hit. He's been a great. Merrill is definitely up there in terms of winning Roy.
Absolutely.
And he did not record a hit. All 4 of these guys Did not record a single hit, right? And you just saw looks of defeat in the press conference. You go look at these press conferences; they just look defeated. Manny was like, he did give respect to the pitching. You said he left, but he did. Obviously, he talked to the reporters and he gave respect to the pitching. He just said they showed up because Manny's he's not the same guy he was on the Dodgers in 2018. He's more of a leader now. We saw that in Game 2 when he was rallying the troops and shit, and he's definitely changed and grown as a leader and as a player. You just think he's not the same guy he was, because we all grow as people, right? But that's all I got to say about the Dodgers Padres, sir. Do you have anything else, or can we move on to the next series?
The only thing I have to say to finish, or kind of wrap up the Dodgers, because we kind of touched on this, is Dave Roberts. I hope he hears me, because Betts heard me, so I hope Dave Roberts hears me. Ohtani is hitting sub 200 with no one on base, and he's hitting plus over 800 when somebody's on base. So move the man down, third or fourth position, maybe fifth.
Where
I don't
he was.
care.
That's
Make
where
sure
he was.
someone is on base. This motherfucker's hitting over 800. That's 80%, sir. If you don't know, Mr. Dave Roberts, okay. I just want
That's the gen logic. That's the gen logic. The past is not determined the future.
You can call it whatever logic you want, but he's sub 200 when nobody's on base. But anyway,
I got you. Okay. So we can go ahead and move on now to the Yankees-Royals series. So I think we both decidedly knew that the Yankees were going to advance in this series. Now the Yankees did handle business on the road, where they won the series 3-1. 2 games in New York, 2 games in Kansas City, and then there was going to be a closeout game in New York, right? So it went 2-2-1, and the Yankees closed it out 3-1, which, again, we weren't surprised. That's what I think we both predicted. So I just wanted to mention Garrett Cole pitched for the Yankees. Only gave up, I would say he kind of got lit up here. 3 runs in 5 innings with a 5. Yeah, that's not Garrett Cole standard right there. Over a 5 ERA. The team did clutch out a game-winning run from Alex Verdugo, in the bottom of the 7th, and this is where my criticism of the Royals comes into play. When their backs are against the wall, they just don't come through, man. It's just, we've seen it all fucking year. Okay, they had a chance because the game was tied 5-5 in the bottom of the 6th. So top of the 7th, they don't do shit. Bottom of the 7th, that's where the Yankees would literally win the game 6-5. Since they were actually at home for Game 1, there would be no bottom of the 9th. It was over, right? So that's what my criticism has been about this Royals team from the very beginning. And it turns out it was true, because the Royals had won that those 5 games, in my opinion. Stealing Game 1 at home, it easily goes 5 games. So we got next Game 2. Rodon did get lit up also for 4 earned runs in the 4th inning. And the Yankees would proceed to do, jack shit the rest of the game. And the score was would be 4-1 up until the 9th inning, where the Yankees got a Chris Paul home run. If you don't know what Chris Paul, the Chris Paul meme is, it comes from the Phoenix Suns game where the Mavericks were smacking the Suns. If you remember that game, Mavericks was the Suns. The Mavericks were actually killing the Phoenix Suns, and then it's where it came from. Chris Paul went on a scoring run, and that's where it kind of came from. Chris Paul. So whenever you hear, that's a Chris Paul home run, or that's a Chris Paul bucket or something like that, it just means that you scored, in this case, a home run, when it meant absolutely jack shit. The game was already decided, So that's what I mean by Chris Paul home run, for a little lesson for you guys, just in case you didn't know that. So the end score in Game 2 was 4-2. Game 3 was decided in the top of the 8th inning with another winning solo from Giancarlo Stanton. And once again, the Royals would fail to answer back in a 3-2 win from New York. And then Garrett Cole would actually recover and close out in a closeout Game 4 and go 7 innings, only giving up 1 earned run. And this one was a 3-1 win, which was, again, look at this, low scoring from the Royals. This is what I mean. They just don't show up when it matters. So that's really all I have to say about it. I mean, the Yankees did enough. Granted, they didn't really have to do much scoring. They just had to do more scoring than the fucking Royals. But, yeah, I mean, that's all I got for the Yankees-Royals. I mean, Yankees did enough, and they advanced 3-1, handle business. Go ahead and give your thoughts, Silas, and we can move on to the next one.
Pretty much, we talked about it. I said that the Royals were a little scary only because they were volatile, but obviously it fizzled at the end, and the Yankees just took care of business. Because we both had chosen the Yankees to make it all the way, prior to when the series, the playoffs first started. We said the Yankees were going into the World Series. Obviously, on the National League, we both had different teams. Even though I will admit that I did say that Cleveland would beat the Yankees. I believe in 6, if I'm not mistaken.
You did say that.
I believe so. They are currently down 0-2. So that for them to win in 6, they would have to
be
win.
a reverse sweep.
There has to be that. But I will tell you this. I chose the Mets because my son went with the Mets. And he told me, hey, Dad, I think Cleveland's going to win this series. He didn't tell me how many games, but I was like, man, if I'm going to take them, I'm going to take them in 6 or 7. And I was like, you know what? If they're going to win, they're going to win in 6. If not, then they're fucked, to be honest with you. So if they don't win the next 4, they're fucked. It goes to Game 7. Yankees are going to World Series. If it even makes it to Game 6, okay? Because the way the Cleveland has been playing, I don't know if it's going to make it to Game 6. This might be a sweep.
Okay, so next is the Detroit Tigers versus Cleveland Guardians, and Seals will tell you himself, man, I was fucking praying that the Tigers didn't make me look wrong, man, because I literally called it a Cinderella run, because the series was split, right? The series was split when we recorded the last podcast, because it was 1-1. I did not expect Detroit to win Game 3 to take that 2-1 lead. And, I mean, to be honest, I'm just glad they fucking put me wrong, man, because that would have been a bad look for me, especially considering how wrong I was about the Padres-Dodgers series. I did not want to be wrong about this one, too, in such a fashion, because it was really a bullpen game from the fucking the Tigers in this game, which what really caught me off guard. The fact that it was a 3-0 loss. How do you fucking not win a 3-0 game? I mean, it's the same thing with the Dodgers Padres. How do you not, show up? But they obviously the way this was handled, it was Scubal was brought back after 5 days of rest from Game 2. He would be brought back in Game 5. I mean, that's what I saw as notable. They brought back Scubal 5 days after Game 2 in Game 5, and he held up through 4 innings. He did well. Before he got cracked in the bottom of the 5th, where he gave up 5 earned runs. If you saw, I'm sure you saw it, if you follow any baseball pages or ESPN or whatever the fuck you want to call it, he gave up a grand slam, which is really, really, really rough. At that point, it would put the Guardians up 5-1, and that's pretty tough to recover from. But, I mean, they did get it to 3-5. They obviously did not do anything after that because Cleveland would cement the win 7-5. Now, it's like I said, man, I called it a Cinderella run for a reason. Back in July, me and Seals were literally shitting on the Tigers. Not like talking shit, but we're just like, well, they suck. That's what we were saying back in July. And, they got hot at the end of the year, and they cracked the playoffs. They beat out the Minnesota Twins and whoever else was close in contention. But, props to them for, making a run. And I feel bad for that bettor who put 1K down on plus 6,800. Plus 600. Basically, the 1K would have paid $680,000. He had a $68,000 cash out, and I'm assuming he did not cash out because I don't think he did. Just based on the way the comments were going, I'm not sure what happened. I could look it up, but man, he had a chance to cash out after Game 3, up to 1. And they were offering $68K, and he chose not to take it. I'm assuming. I hope he took it because obviously they lost, and after the series was tied, I bet that cash out went severely down. But anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Obviously Cleveland advances on to face the Yankees. Go ahead, Silos, give your thoughts on this series, and we can move on to the next series after that.
I mean, honestly, for Detroit, the only good thing was Scubal. And obviously they were banking on him on Game 5. And here's the thing, I believe that, once you play somebody a couple times, you start to see and you figure them out, and that's why he got cracked in the 5th. But, hats off to Cleveland. They did what they needed to do to win the game, and, but he needed to do what they needed to do. And, advance in the playoffs, and now they're playing the Yankees, and they're not looking good. They are not looking good, but, it is what it is. So, let's move on to the next series.
Okay. So, I think you kind of touched it because the next thing I have is Mets-Phillies. So, we can just cover that real quick. because I didn't really get to talk about it. So here's how it really went down. In my opinion, this is what it was. The Phillies just couldn't get hits on the Mets pitchers, right? And the thing about the Mets pitchers is they've been kind of inconsistent all year, just like this entire Mets team. Even ask New York Mets fans, they'll tell you, man, they're so inconsistent. There's a reason why I cannot get this team right when I bet on them, okay? There's a reason why we joked about it all the time, that I have a terrible record on the Mets. I literally will take them to win, to lose, run line, over, under, it doesn't fucking matter. I get it wrong all the time. It's not even funny at this point. It's honestly painful. But, at the end of the day, Phillies batters are also, all year they were fucking inconsistent as hell. They would just shit the bed, and they would literally have games where they was just all game long. They would just not do a damn thing. All right, and you look at what happened, man. I mean, the one game where they actually were competitive, it was the 7-6 game where they basically, it was a come from behind win, and even I think they ended up taking like a 2-run lead or something like that, and then the Mets tied it 6-6 with getting 2 runs in the 9th, and then of all people, Nick Castellanos. Okay, I've seen this guy play a lot. To me, every single time he comes up to bat, I'm just like, oh, the inning's over, man. Inning's over. Nick is up. It's over. And sometimes he does surprise you, right? He'll hit a homer, or he'll get like a 2-run single or like a double or something, like all baseball players do, right? But like most of the time when this fucker came up, I was like, yeah, I'm good. Especially if I have the opposite team, I'm good. He's over. Or if you bet on them, it was like, fuck, we're fucked. Ain't shit going down. So I do think the Phillies bullpen really sold this series, man. You look at the starters, most of the time they held up. The only pitcher that, in my opinion, got really rocked was Aaron Nola. He was doing well, and then he gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings. That was, I believe, the final game against Sean Manaea, who really showed up in that series.
I guess I remember we talked about that game, and you said that Manaea was, you're like, no, he's not going to win. Nola Alone's going to own him.
Well, I said I banked on Nola to outperform Manaea. I did say, you're right in me saying that, I didn't disrespect Manaea in any way. I just, what I've seen in it throughout the year, like, he's crackable, and I just thought that Manaea would, hold up better. I mean, Nola would hold up better, but Manaea is, their ace. But this is the reason why I can't really say much about Manaea or any of the Mets pitchers, because I just get them wrong all the time, and I don't know I can't read them at all. So. But apparently I can't read the Padres or the Dodgers either, because we saw that too. But hey, at least I got the Yankees right. I got the Cleveland series right, and I'm gonna be right about the fucking Lynx. I don't care that they lost today, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the Mets Phillies game. Manaea, held up. He held up over everybody else. So we can move on to the NLCS series. Recap the Mets Dodgers officially, because I know you. I'll go first since you already kind of had your little Dodger tirade on me. So the Mets Dodgers recap. I gotta say, you gotta pay respect where it's due. Again, as much as people think I hate, again, it's just the fucking fans that I really hate. I really don't have a problem with the Dodgers, and I think that's most haters. Y'all say hate us because they ain't us. I promise you, I don't want to be anything like any of you fuckers. And again, I'm talking about the filthy degenerates, not the good people like Silos mentioned in his last speech, his little monologue, where he said, you're really milking that rubbing your chest shit, bro. You rubbed it for like 10 seconds straight. It, my brother. But anyways, so like I know I understand that there's plenty of good Dodger fans out there that don't get into trouble. Trust me, like where I sat, when I went to the game, I actually when I sat down with my brother-in-law, like I actually joked to some of the Dodger fans behind me sitting. I come in peace because I was decked out in Angel games. I come in peace. Are you good, bro? No, don't even trip. So I know there's good people out there. I just like to shit on you guys for the small percentage that make you look bad, because I mean they really make you look like shit. I'm sorry, but anyways.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Paying respect to Jack Flaherty, who in my opinion was the MVP of this game, only giving up 2 hits and 0 earned runs in 7 innings. That's impressive, man. Whenever you go 7 innings in the fucking playoffs, like the way Jack did, like you just saw the man like sitting in the bullpen afterwards, and he's like, "Look what I did." Was it a dugout? I think it's a dugout. He was sitting in the dugout. He was just chilling. He's just like, "Yeah, I did good. I did good today." So definitely pay respect to Jack, especially after what I said about Jack about him being shaky since he got traded. He's like, "Man, Tony Millones, fuck that fucker. I'm about to show him what's up." So he did. They do, bro. They do. Now I do got to mention Kodai's. I think that's how you say it. Kodai. I think it's Kodai because I think he's Japanese, right? I might be wrong about that. Don't. I think he is because I think they mentioned like a Japanese face-off. I'm not sure. I think it was Senga. That might have been the next game. I don't know. Just I think he is Japanese. I might have to edit this out because I don't want to look bad. But anyways, Kodai he looked bad, man. He looked really bad. Like from the very beginning, you watch this game. He gave up 3 earned runs in 1.1 innings before he got pulled, and it's like, man, how do you do that fucking bad? Like, everything. I think he gave up a lot of walks, and he just obviously it was not good. They showed up across the board in terms of the Dodgers lineup. They made a 6-0 in the 6th inning, and then they got put away with the 3-1 double from Mookie Betts himself. Yeah, what was the final score?
Right?
It was 9-0. 9-0. Yeah, 9-0. So it was 6-0 in the 6th inning, and then it got put away with the 3-1 double from Mookie Betts himself. And that's how the game ended. 9-0. Very convincing win from the Dodgers. So that's all I really have to say about Game 1. That's all I really noted. If you want to comment on that, or if we can move on to Game 2, it's up to you.
No, you can move on to Game 2. I mean, 9-0. What is there to say?
Yeah, I mean they couldn't get a fucking hit,
the
man. I mean Jack locked.
Kodai Senga.
Okay. Did you find out if he was Japanese or not? Is he Japanese? Was I right about that?
Yes, he is Japanese pitcher.
Thank God. Okay. I will beat the allegations if there are any. So Game 2, the Mets would answer, right? Manaea would hold it down for 5 innings, only giving up 2 hits with 2 earned runs. The problem was, so here's how it kind of went. Muncy got a solo homer in the bottom of the 5th, right, to start the scoring. And then Manaea would allow walks for both Betts and Teoscar. And then this is where I was watching. I was like, oh, fuck this, man. What the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? And then it would be Edman who brought them home with, I believe, a 2-run single to make it. At that point, it was 6-3. Now, the Dodgers started the game with Ryan Brazier, a bullpen guy, who allowed a solo homer from Francisco Lindor, who would end the little 33 consecutive innings streak. And you did not get to break the record. You just stayed tied, right? Now, in the top of the 2nd, the Dodgers would walk Lindor, and they would take on Mark Vientos instead, who, obviously, with Lindor, the bases were loaded. It was a huge mistake, man, because Mark would smack a grand slam on Landon Knack. Poor Landon Knack, man. He really got roughed up in this game. He made it, making it 6-0 early, and that's I kind of said it out of order just because I was talking about the Dodgers first. The response in the 5th would be, because this happened in the 2nd inning, okay? So 2nd inning, 6-0 with that grand slam. Then the Dodgers would respond with what happened in the 5th, right, and against Manaea. So sorry if that was a little confusing for my listeners, but, I mean, that's just how I wrote it down. And then the Mets would get a Chris Paul single from Starling Marte to end the game 7-3, right? And so, Silos, if you want to give your thoughts on this game, go ahead, because I don't think you talked about it too much, but yeah, I mean, it was a good response from the Mets. Good response.
Yeah, it was definitely. Knack got rocked in the 2nd, but Dodgers kept with him, and in the third he shut it out, and something turned, like you said, something turned on after that, and they only allowed 1 run after that. So really, if Knack wouldn't have gotten rocked with that grand slam, I mean, this was honestly a good. The Dodgers could have won this game, but obviously they didn't. Manaea did what he had to do, and it was all downhill from there. So that moves us on to today's game.
Okay, so Game 3, Dodgers would obviously fucking respond. Now I do want to mention Luis Severino did have a solid outing, just solid because it could have been a lot better. He did have a solid outing that got out of hand at the end with a walk to Muncy and then a single from Teoscar, who would then be brought home by a 1-run single from Will Smith. And then it would be an RBI sac fly from Edman. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 0 outs up until that RBI sac fly, or 1 out. But the point is, the Dodgers had plenty of time to get these runners home. And then later on, thinking it was a different inning. Yeah, it was so that got them to 2-0. And Kike Hernandez, who is, or you could argue, Teoscar is Batman, Kike is Robin, or Kike's Batman and the Oscar's Rob. I don't know. Those the Hernandez. If your last name's Hernandez, you turned up right now. I'm just saying that right now. Y'all turned up and you're excited as hell because these two have been very 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 good for this team. And to be honest, they've been the two best players in this on this other team in terms of making shit happen and getting the troops rallied with homers and singles, doubles, whatever you want to call it. They've just been doing great, man. In my opinion, those two are Batman and Robin. You pick and choose who the fuck you want to be Batman and Robin, but in my opinion, that's up in this playoff series for this team, and the Padres one too. They've just been Batman and Robin to me. But y'all choose who you want to be your Batman and Robin. But Shohei, with the top of the eighth, will hit a three-run homer, 397 feet into right field. That shit. 397 feels a little light to me. I thought it was heavier. That shit had a lot of exit velocity, and I thought it was gonna take someone's head off from the minute it landed. But on the second pitch, he made it with that 3-run homer. He made it 7-0, right? And then lastly, Max Muncy would get a Chris Paul homer to I call it Chris Paul homer, but they were up 7-0, so to make it 8-0. So Silos, if you want to give your thoughts on this last one, and then we can kind of predict the rest of the series out. Go ahead.
Yeah, and like I said previously, I kind of ranted on Dave Roberts. Shohei was 0 for 2, I believe. There was 2 men on base, and guess what happens? Hits that home run, hitting over 800. But you're right. Kike Hernandez and Teoscar Hernandez have been the 2 players to watch in this series. To be honest with you, just based on what they've done in this series, I think Kike Hernandez will get the MVP for the NLCS. I think he's just rallied the troops a lot more. Even though today, Max Muncy, 5 plate appearances, and he got on base all 5 times, 3 walks, 1 single, and obviously a home run. So
the Skywalker back at it again.
Yeah, he's back at it again. And I believe it's his last 8 or 9 appearances. He hasn't struck out. He's either walked, got a hit, or a home run. So to be honest with you, the one that really stood out and was Kike Hernandez, because even though they were up 2-0, he hit a 2-run home run, pretty much giving a little bit of more of insurance, because 2-0, that could easily be turned around, especially at one point where bases were loaded, man. And I mean, they got out of it and did not allow a run, but I mean, 2-0 can be very, very scary, and 4-0, I mean, at least that gives you some insurance. So I'm happy that they won. Words have been said before. Job's not done. There's 2 more to win here and 4 more to win after that.
All right, hang on. I'm so glad you actually brought up that. Let me real quick. Hold on. I'm glad you actually brought that up. So yeah, I got a little clip to play for you. All right, just because yes sir. You thought shit was sweet, huh? No. We're not just here to play games. All right, I got a little clip for the audience here. Since you want to bring up jobs not finished, right? Let's play and give the context behind this whole thing. So, the Dodgers, when they were tied 2-2 with the Padres, decided to put up the little saying, jobs not finished, in their clubhouse, right? And I got a problem with that shit, because, how can you be tied 2-2 in a divisional series? You know what this man was, what position he was in.
You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? No, I don't think so.
Okay. You're up 2.
All right. So, why am I playing that clip? You see it. Did you all see the? I hope if you, for my YouTube listeners, you see what he got in the background? He's got the finals in the fucking background. Not the divisional series, not the first round, not the second round. He's got the finals. All right. Don't be playing no fucking bullshit. Don't put that banner up until you're in the World Series and you're up 2-0. Okay. Not when you're tied 2-2 against the Padres, against your divisional rival. You think Kobe was sweating divisional rivals? I mean, in this specific instance, he wasn't. He was in the finals against obviously the other side. So that's my whole point. I cringe as hell. Y'all want to be Kobe so bad. Y'all want to be the Lakers so bad. You're not the Lakers. You never will be the Lakers. All right. One Mickey Mouse run in 35 years. You are not the Lakers. Stop acting like you're the Lakers. Yeah, you're nothing like the Lakers. I promise you. I'm just saying. All right, this man won 5. Okay, starting in 2000, 2001, 2002, 09, 10. Okay, 5 rings in this century. You have 1 Mickey Mouse run. After how many NL West titles? All right, so don't bring this man up. All right, don't cite his name like that. Y'all ain't Kobe, and you won't be Kobe. But anyways, let's move on to the how we're gonna see this series, and I'll kick it off by saying we did screenshot our predictions, so we would, and I told them verbally before we started that way because we weren't going to be able to record in time because we got shit to do. So my prediction is screenshotted. We got witnesses. Game Mets in 6. Obviously, I wanted this. Obviously, the split was good for me in that prediction because I needed them to split it. If they don't split it, I didn't think it was going to happen in 6. But they obviously lost today in a very convincing fashion for the Dodgers. So it's not looking good for Mets in 6 for me. But I still think it can get done because this man, he'll tell you in a second what he predicted. He was way more bolder than I was. So I just think Mets in 6, right? That's still, I'm sticking with it because I predicted it beforehand. I'm not switching up. I'm not going to switch to 7. Just like this man will tell you right now what he predicted. So yeah, we got Game 4 in New York still. We still got the Game 4 in New York. The pressure is back on the Mets obviously to answer back after this 7-0 loss and even up the series. Sorry, 8-0 loss. Let me correct myself. 8-0 loss. And Yamamoto is going to take the mound for Game 4, and we'll need to continue his success from the closeout Game 5 against the Padres if the Dodgers want a chance to win this game. Because for the Mets to have a back-to-back loss like this, I don't see it happening. Again, I said some shit about the Padres last time. Luckily this time it's different because the Padres took 2-1 lead last time. This time the Mets are down 2-1. So we're going to see if the Dodgers can handle the pressure of being up this time, not being down. Right? Are they going to come into Game 4 cocky, or let it get to their heads? We'll see. They call him Kobe, so we'll have to see if they actually do what Kobe did, which is win 4-1 in that Game 7 series. So I mean, that's what you predicted, right? That's what you think is going to happen, 4-1. That's what Seals is going to say right now. But Flaherty and Buehler have both stepped up in this series in order to put this team away. So Yamamoto's going to have to continue that level of pitching. Okay. So we got Jose Quintana taking the mound in Game 4. Now this man, arguably their worst starter, arguably. He's not looking like it right now. He's looking like the best one because his first outing against the Milwaukee Brewers, he only allowed 4 hits on 0 runs. That he actually was the guy who closed. He closed that Game 3 to win 2-1, where the Mets would come from behind to steal that game. So Quintana, it wasn't Quintana's fault. He held them to 4 hits, 0 runs. Obviously, he did great. Okay, and then we got then he came back against the Phillies, only allowed 2 hits, 0 runs in 5 innings. So the fact is, Quintana's hot right now, and if he continues this level of play, the Dodgers are gonna have a tough time in this game. Again, I'm sticking with it. Mets in 6. I think they're gonna win every single game after this. I think they're gonna win the next 2 in New York to take a 3-2 lead. And then they're going to go back and close it in Los Angeles, which is actually sweeter for me. I want to see those crying faces on the screen all game. So that's what I got. Mets in 6. They're going to beat your ass in L.A. And it is what it is. If I'm wrong this time, I'm wrong. But, hey, it already happened once. And your Dodger fans made sure I heard it. And to be honest, they suck at talking shit anyway. So I ain't scared. Go ahead, Silas. Tell them what you predicted, sir.
My prediction was easy. I said the Dodgers would win this in 5. I gave the Mets to win 1 game, and they have won 1 game. They stole it in L.A. Now the Dodgers are going to sweep their asses in New York. It's going to be nice and sweet, baby. Nice and sweet.
Really? Interesting.
Yep. You're going to see it.
Despite Jose Quintana's heat, he's on heat right now? You don't give a fuck about that? You just don't matter?
You want to know why? In the words of Kike Hernandez, we just don't give a fuck.
Well, the players don't, but your fans do, because they make sure they comment on my shit. Obviously, I strike a nerve when they watch my reels. So I'm just saying. Oh yeah, is that all you have to say about the prediction? Trust me, y'all gonna be crying. Y'all gonna be crying, bro.
Okay. Hey, you want me to help you over the bridge when they win the World Series?
Help me now. Now you wanna. You want to assist? I don't need your help. I'll do it myself on some Thanos shit. Is that all you got to say about it, though? Or do you want to move on? Because we are kind of running a lot. I mean, it was going to run along. And the last segments aren't going to be that long. This was going to be the bulk of the podcast anyway. So we got Yankees, Guardians. So, I mean, this is real simple, man. The Guardians pitching has been a problem all fucking year. And we're seeing it here, right? Cobb got torched for 5 hits, 3 earned runs. Soto would get the first score with a solo homer on Cobb. And after, would give up 2 walks before giving up a 4-pitch walk on a wild pitch, bringing in a runner, making it 2-0, and then another fucking wild pitch on a strikeout swinging. So he had the strikeout. The catcher couldn't complete the catch, and it would get another runner home, 3-0. Final score would be 5-2 Yankees. Honestly, that's there's not much to say about this game. The fucking Guardians lost it, and their pitching is a problem, man. So I'll move on to game 2, and I'll let you comment on both games, Silos, okay? So Aaron Judge would start the scoring off with a fielding error from Rokio, who was the starting pitcher, continuing the defensive errors from the Guardians. Now I think Bibby gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs in only 1.1 innings, so that's really, really fucking bad. He didn't even make it to the second inning before they pulled him because he already gave up 2 runs. Now Garrett Cole would give up 6 hits, 2 earned runs in 4.1 innings, so clearly he won the pitcher's matchup there. The key play here is when the Guardians walk Soto to try to strike out Judge, which is if you would hear that and be like, well, why did they walk Soto? Just get Judge, and it's because Judge has not. I mean, obviously he would end up homering, but at this time, I think Judge was batting like 143 at the time. Some crazy low that's not normal for for the captain here. So he did end up getting an in-play out, which an RBI sac fly to make it 3-0. Okay, so it's not like he didn't do shit. He just didn't obviously homer it. But I think it was the right play to walk Soto based on how hot Soto has been all this playoffs. But I mean, obviously Aaron responded because he finally broke his home run drought. I don't think he's had a homer this entire playoff season. But he hit a 2-run homer to make it 3. So he would ice the game in the bottom of the 7th, and it would end up being 6-3. So final score 6-3. That's all I gotta say. I mean, I had the Yankees in 6. The Guardians are a better team at home. Okay, for some reason they're a different team at home. So if the Guardians are gonna be at home, I could see it going. Obviously the Yankees already won 2, so they're gonna take probably 2 games of 3. So it's gonna be going 3-2 back to New York, and New York is going to close out in Game 6. That's how I see it going. But go ahead, Silas, give your thoughts on this Yankees-Guardians series so far, and we can move on to the WNBA after that.
So I picked the Yankees to make it to the World Series, and when you text me to make sure we put our picks in before game, I believe it was before Game 1, I told you I was going to switch it up, and I was going to take Cleveland in 6, only because my son told me to go with Cleveland. And I'm gonna stick to it only because I do not like to change my mind. Gonna probably be wrong, but Cleveland, please listen to me. Take 3 at home. Take that momentum to New York and win that Game 6.
That's insane.
And prove me right.
The reverse sweep,
I know that
bro.
is the most insane shit that I will say.
It's insane.
But please, por favor. One time.
You just want to face the Guardians in the World Series, man. How
Absolutely
fucking
not.
lame is that, man?
Let me tell you. It's not even that. It's just the fact that if I said it, I'm going to stick with it. Now, do I prefer a Dodgers-Yankees World Series? Yes, because that hasn't happened, I believe, since the last time it happened, I believe it was 1981 when, Fernando Valenzuela was pitching. So... and that was, I believe, when the Dodgers won as well. El Toro. But no, I like I said, when the playoffs first started, we said Yankees into the World Series. We both disagreed on the National League. I believe you had picked Phillies. I picked the Dodgers. Dodgers are still alive. The Phillies are out. But I did say Cleveland, so I'm riding with Cleveland. Please, por favor. Only so I'm not wrong. But preferably,
I just gotta
yes,
say.
I do want a Dodgers-Yankees World Series. Finally, we were robbed of it in 2017.
I don't think you actually want that series, man, because like these pitchers have finally woken up. I mean, Garrett's looking better, so especially in this last outing, and now I'm confused as to why we're not seeing Gil. Maybe they're saving him. He hasn't played since September 28th against Pittsburgh. I'm kind of wondering why. Okay, well, Gil's not in the rotation right now. Interesting choice. Maybe they'll bring him back because he's active. I just don't see him. Maybe they don't trust him right now. But anyways, Rodona is actually playing better too. I just think they're the team that's going to give you a run for your money if you do make it out against the Mets, which I still don't think is going to happen. But we can move on. Let's move on to the WNBA. So, are you okay if I recap it, or do you want to?
Go ahead and recap it, because to be honest with you, I was watching the Dodger game, missed the majority of it, but I did watch the most important play of the game. So go ahead and recap.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to start with Game 1. So Game 1 was a come-from-behind win from the Lynx. We're down in regulation, 83-80. Corley Williams would miss a game-tying 3, and Alana Smith, the center for the Lynx, would get the offensive rebound and find Williams again for a 4-point play, making it 84-83. I know, yeah, you heard that right. A 4-point play, got fouled on a 3-point shot to take the lead, making the free throw. So later on, Breanna Stewart would get sent. This happened like, at the damn near at the end of the game. Breanna Stewart would get sent to the line for 2 free throws, where she would actually make one and miss one, and it would send the game to overtime. So we got overtime in Game 1. In OT, the Lynx would pretty much hold the lead for most of the game. They hit the game winner. Okay, so yeah, I'm not surprised who hit the game winner. It was Nafisia Collier, the star of the Lynx, pretty much, who hit the game winner to take it 95-93 in OT with only 8.8 seconds remaining. It was Nafisia Collier. Now, I do want to mention that in this game, we did mention before that it was going to take Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu playing out of their minds great to beat this Lynx team. As despite them, the Liberty being heavy favorites, we still think the Lynx are going to take this series. So Stewart scored 18 points on 6-21 shooting. Ionescu scored 19 on 8-26 shooting. And it was actually John Kell Jones with 24 and 10 on 9 of 14 shooting, and Leonie Fibich with 17 points on 5 of 9 from the 3-point range, who had them in the game and mostly ahead in that game. Nafisia did score 21 points and 8 rebounds on 10 of 16 shooting, and it was supported by Courtney Williams and Kayla O'Brien chipping in with 23 and 22 respectively. And the Lynx should shot the ball better overall. I honestly thought, I don't know how the Liberty had the lead in this game. I think with the Stars, I mean, obviously they had some help from the other teams, supporting players, but with Sabrina and Breanna just playing terribly, it makes sense as to why the Lynx were able to come back and take this game. So Game 2 saw Sabrina and Breanna play much better, but it was really an overall effort. We saw the Liberty shot the 3-pointer at 46% compared to the Lynx 30%. And it's like we mentioned earlier in the last episode, when you're shooting that well from 3, it's kind of hard to lose, right? So the Liberty played Nafisia much better, causing her to turn the ball over 7 fucking times, which is really unacceptable. You can't be turning it over 7 times. And it's really, past that, no one really stepped up for the Lynx, and the Liberty would take it to Game 2, 80-66, and in my opinion, a must-win series. Now, Game 3, I'll give my thoughts on Game 3, and I'll let you finish it off, Silos, because you did see the end of this game. But Game 3, what I thought mostly was, the fact is, the Lynx were ahead most of this game in Game 3. And I was actually shocked that the Liberty would make the run back, because they were up pretty convincingly, too. They were up 8 going into halftime. And then they would end up the Liberty would storm back to win 80-77. Now, my big thing was, they were really hounding Sabrina Ionescu from the get-go. The guards on the Lynx were Kayla McBride and Courtney Williams. Mostly those two that were really hounding Sabrina, not letting her really have any space. Anytime she caught the ball, they were right in her grill, really locking in, switching everything, going over on screens. They were really keying in on Sabrina. And there's a reason why in the first quarter she only shot one shot, went 0 for 1 in the first quarter, right? Because she wasn't comfortable. She was looking to assist the ball. And Sabrina is at her best when she's doing both, right? She's taking her shots, but she's also looking for her teammates. So at the end of the day, what ended up happening was Brianna Stewart. And I mean, it was honestly a overall team effort, but I thought Brianna Stewart was obviously the MVP of this game. She did shoot 9 of 20, which is still pretty solid. She went 10 of 10 from the free throw line. Now, here's where I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, like Silos does with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I saw some shots, some fadeaway shots, some mid-range jumpers, where Brianna got calls, and I was like, really? Really? We're going to call that? I was really skeptical about some of Brianna's calls. I was like, and even the Lynx guards, because what they were doing is they were trying to get Brianna switched from Nafisa. Nafisa was her primary matchup, and they were trying to get her switched from her over to Alana Smith or one of the guards, right? So a lot of times when they got that switch, Brianna was able to draw a foul. And I mean, in my opinion, you should have let them play. Don't call a foul, but it is what it is, and ultimately it's just going to have to be, the Lynx are going to have to defend Brianna better because she got 30 points, 11 rebounds, and she really went off, proved that she's one of the greatest players of all time in this league. And, all around supporting cast did a good job. They just shot the ball better at 46% from the field and 40% from three-point range. And obviously I cannot end this spiel without mentioning, fact is Sabrina would end up giving them a 4-point lead, and she... So it was they were up 74-73. Sabrina hits a 3-point shot to take them up 4. The Lynx would come back to tie it at 77-77, and then in the final game, Sabrina went fucking off, and she canned a 3, step back 3 up to the. I don't think it was a couple steps in from the logo, but she hit a 3 to take to. It was phenomenal. If you watch this game live, man, it was phenomenal. She stepped back, knocked it down 3. And you just saw her flex and really feel it because I'm telling you, she did not play well. All right, she shot 5 of 12, 41%, not good. 3 of 8, but I mean, again, she got those 2 threes at the end of the game. Up until then, she was 1 for 6. Okay, so she wasn't playing well up until that point. But I was actually gonna grill her a little bit more, but she ended up winning the game essentially for her team and showing up when it fucking mattered. So we care about that a lot on this podcast, showing up in big moments. And she did what she needed to do, and they take a commanding 2-1 lead against the Lynx. Who are going to have to respond in the next game. So go ahead, Seals, give your thoughts on this series overall, and then we can move on to the NFL.
So I was just I missed the majority of Game 3.
Hey, by the way, you have noise in the background, just so you know. I mean, I don't know if you know that, but you got like a game going on or something. What do you?
Yeah, they're replaying the Dodger game right now. I'm just kind of enjoying it.
Okay, I guess.
Anyway,
they're gonna be able to hear. They're gonna be able to hear it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So anyway, I missed the majority of the game, but then you told me, it's a tie game. It's going to overtime. I changed it back, and I'm like, dude, it's still in regulation with 16 seconds left. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And they inbounded, passed it to Sabrina. She takes her moment. She's looking at it. She actually didn't step back. She actually stepped forward, and then the defender tried to adjust to that really quick, so she just stepped to the side, and she was she was close to mid court. So that was a very impressive. I was like, the fuck just happened? Like, how in the hell did she just score that? And she scored it with 1 second left. Pretty much gave the Lynx no chance to. I mean, unless they had Derek Fisher, they weren't making that
0.4 seconds. Yeah.
But other than that, there was not. They locked it down after that. That was such and then I'm looking at the numbers, and I believe Sabrina went 9 for 22, by the way. But she made the ones that counted, and the Liberia up 2-1, man, and I believe they're going to Minnesota next, and their next game is in Minnesota. And man, Lynx, please hear me out.
Prove us right, please.
Prove us right. We haven't been wrong about you all year. We haven't been, even when you guys
right.
we're underdogs at, I believe it was like plus 350, plus 325 or 375, something like that. We believed in you. We put our money where our mouth was.
Yeah, against the Aces. It was against. You paid us.
And you paid us.
Yeah.
Let us not be wrong.
It was a fat payday too. It was a fat payday. It was a 3-leg parlay too. It was a fat payday. Yeah.
It was. You know, we enjoyed it and we appreciate it, and we still believe in you. You know, but again, you know, Brianna Stewart, man, Sabrina Ionesco, man, they're gonna have to play the lights out if they're gonna win this series.
Sure, man. I do want to finish up with because actually I think I kind of covered it. All right, yeah, we can move on to the NFL now. Now, originally we're gonna do something else, but then breaking news yesterday, right? It broke yesterday. All right about that.
Let's start with.
It's been a day, or did it break today?
Browns receiver.
Okay.
It's been a day.
Okay, so the Browns have traded Amari Cooper over to the Bills. Okay, the Bills have acquired Amari Cooper. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I read it right. It was the 3rd rounder and a 7th rounder for Amari Cooper. So obviously, this is one of 2 trades that went down yesterday, and now we have Josh Allen who gets to replace who departed from the Bills, Stephon Diggs. He replaces them with Amari Cooper. Josh desperately needed a wide receiver 1. And Amari gets to fill that role. Now, Amari is still very much capable of being a number 1 receiver. He just had Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball. As someone who's been following Amari Cooper, because I have him on my fantasy team, and I'm fucking grateful that he's now has Josh Allen throwing him the ball. For the record, I did smack Silos in last week's NFL fantasy. All that shit he was talking just to lose by 80 points to me. So just for the record, I did beat Silos in NFL fantasy for that. I know he's steaming about that loss, but you know, tough shit. But you know, now we got Amari Cooper, and I did want to pull up this number, the overview here. See if I still have it here. Yeah, so it says here it was a 6th pick. It was it was Amari Cooper and a 6th round pick in 2025 from the Browns in exchange for a 2025 3rd round pick and a 2026 7th round pick. Okay, and here's where I wanted to kind of. So Amari Cooper leads the NFL with 473 air yards on incomplete targets this season. So obviously, I mean, I'm going to put that on Deshaun Watson, okay? I didn't really get to see the Browns games because, I mean, who the fuck wants to watch that team anyways? But they weren't connecting, so, I mean, you know, did you watch them or no?
Well, I watch them on Red Zone because I watch Red Zone a lot. So,
okay.
You know,
it was Deshaun, right? Deshaun was the problem.
Deshaun has been the problem. He's just... Dude, like, that guy is, I mean, he's supposed to be a great player, and I mean, at one point he was doing good, but I mean, this year it's like he's just disappeared. I mean, honestly, like, they need to go for a search party and find this guy because he's not the answer, and I honestly think that the Browns need to find a way to get rid of him. I have suggestions.
Right. So the point is, the Bills needed a number 1 receiver. They got one. Amari Cooper is a great route runner, and he's had 6 seasons of posting over 1,000 yards. So the fact is, he's still 30 years old. He's still got time in this league left. With Josh Allen, he should be able to get this guy looks and. They're going to succeed, and in my opinion, this was the best trade out of the 2 trades that happened. I did want to kind of touch on Josh Allen in his last week against the Jets, where I think he played pretty well. Now, the thing about Josh is now that he has a number 1 receiver, he'll be able to make those crazy plays more successfully because like, we all know Josh Allen. It's the reason why he's number 1 in interceptions. Not this year, but normally he leads the league in interceptions, and it's because he makes those crazy plays. You know, he'll be running out of bounds. Instead of just walking out of bounds, the man's just gonna launch it and try to make a Superman play. Right now, he has Amari Cooper who can catch those passes, and I think he's gonna improve both Allen and obviously Amari, because Amari's not been doing well. So we'll see, but I think obviously the Bills are Josh needed this receiver for sure to fill this role. So. If you want, you can comment on this trade, Silos, and then we can move on to Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I think this really does help Josh Allen a lot. He has a true number one receiver. This could also potentially help the Browns in a sense because then that moves Jerry Jeudy to the number one right receiver for the Browns. And if by any chance Watson decides to be able to throw the ball correctly and in where it belongs, Jerry Jeudy can start catching some balls and build his stock and eventually do what Amari Cooper did and move out of Cleveland. I mean, right now Cleveland has zero answers. They've always had a QB issue. They thought, offering Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed money was the way to go. And well, we've all found out what that does. And he's had legal trouble after legal trouble. And then now that he's kind of cleared per se, he's not throwing the ball, and he's not throwing the ball where it should land, and a lot of that is on him. It's not on the players. It sucks because he does potentially have like really good players. I mean, he had Amari Cooper, he had Jerry Jeudy, good receivers. Tight end, he has what's his name, Njoku, which is pretty solid. So, I mean, he should be making these throws, properly. And sometimes I feel like just getting into their area, they'll catch it. But he's not even doing that. So, I mean, ultimately it's going to be great for Amari Cooper and the Bills. I think this moves them into a better position, the Bills, into a better position for a Super Bowl run. I'm not saying they will win. I'm just saying it puts them in a better position, and possibly they can make it because they are a pretty solid team.
For sure. Real quick before we move on to Devontae Adams, I promised my brother-in-law that I would comment on the Dallas Cowboys. All right, because it's kind of relevant. Amari Cooper, just a little history lesson, was drafted to the formerly Oakland Raiders, where he would be traded to the Cowboys, right? And then obviously to the Browns, and now he's in Buffalo. So, man, Amari Cooper has been through like football hell, man. Let's just be real, okay? I'm sorry, but the Oakland Raiders, then the Dallas Cowboys, then he's in Cleveland. Now he's finally getting a chance to actually do something with a good quarterback and a good team. This propels Josh Allen into Super Bowl contender status. Now, the reason I bring up the Cowboys now, because obviously Amari Cooper did play for the Cowboys, is, had Jerry Jones managed the fucking cap properly, he probably would have been able to keep Amari Cooper. It would be Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb as the two best receivers in Dallas. Because the fact is, Brandon Cooks, is still injured, okay? So they're really, I mean, I know we get on Dak, but, he's got what I presume to be receiver 2 in Brandon Cooks being out. And then it's just CeeDee Lamb, and obviously that whole fucking franchise is a mess. Jerry Jones, if you fucking hear me, I doubt it, because you don't even hear yourself sometimes, man. I said it to my brother-in-law, bro. I said, Jerry Jones, he sees the shit that no one else sees, and he's not seeing the shit that we all see. Okay, that's Jerry Jones' biggest problem. It's not the 90s anymore where you had no cap and you could spend all the fucking money in the world like the Dodgers, and not to sneak this to Dodgers, but I had to. So you got to manage the cap and actually develop talent and make trades and all this stuff. And the fact is, he just doesn't know what he's doing no more. He really needs to move on. Hire someone, an architect who can build teams, and who knows what the fuck he's doing. Okay, just had to comment on it real quick. Jerry Jones, just move on, brother. You're a fucking billionaire, man. You own the most successful fucking money wise. Obviously not like winning wise, but like the most valuable franchise in sports. Okay, you're good, bro. Just move on, go off into the sunset, and you're good. All right, but no need to fuck up and put these Dallas Cowboy fans through pain, even though we love to see it because y'all cocky as fuck. But for no reason. But just move on, man, and at least give them a shot to win. I mean, because the fact is, when the Cowboys are good, at least in the regular season, shit's more interesting. It's just true. It's fun to see them rise, as Stephen A. says, and then fall. But right now, it's not even fucking funny. It's honestly kind of sad to see these Dallas Cowboys in pain so early. So it's not even Thanksgiving yet. We still got a month till Thanksgiving, and they're already trash. I mean, come on. Go ahead, Silas. Take it from here.
So the only thing, since you brought up the Cowboys, I didn't want to bring them up. But, you know, first of all, let's get one thing straight. The Dallas Cowboys should be renamed the Alice Cowboys. And this was said by Stephen A. Smith, because there's no D in Dallas. So reality is, I say Dallas should get together, put on a vote, and say, you know what, fuck it, you guys don't even play in Dallas. You play in Arlington. There really is no D in Arlington. Because the Lions scored 47 fucking points on your dumbasses. 47 points. They had 9 scoring drives. You had 9 fucking points. Like, god damn it. Like, here's the thing. Jerry Jones, if you're listening, and I hope you do, you're not a GM. You're an owner. You don't know. I get it. You think you know about football because at one point they brought you glory in the 90s. Again, you're stuck in the 90s, my brother, because I believe, what was it, 1995? Maybe 1996, the last time the Cowboys won
95.
a Super Bowl? In 95? I mean, come on. That fucking shit is on VHS. People don't even know what VHS is anymore. Like, move on. You gotta move on with the times. Just relinquish that GM position. Let somebody else come in. Let somebody else hire a coach. Because, let me tell you, this coach, McCarthy, he ain't the answer. He's not. He's really not. There's no defense. Apparently there's no offense. I mean, week 1, everybody was like, woohoo! Yeah, I think they beat the Browns.
Yeah, they beat the Browns. That's correct, sir.
Like, the fuck? You beat the Browns and you thought you were winning the Super Bowl? Like, the fuck? I have one question and one question only, and I'm just going to end it right here. Because we've asked this before the season started, and we'll ask it again. Y'all still them boys?
I'll leave that for you. I'll leave that one for you, brother. I'll leave that one for you. I'll chime in next time. How about them Cowboys? I had to hit him with the little Skip Bayless instead. So we can move on to the Devontae Adams trade now. So after, Devontae Adams spent his first 7 years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so I got it right here. So Devontae Adams was traded from the now Las Vegas Raiders to the New York Jets. Now, I don't have the trade details in front of me, unfortunately.
I do.
But it wasn't for no one notable or no trade. So
it was just a conditional 3rd round pick.
Okay.
That could be a 2nd rounder if he makes 1st or 2nd All Pro team, or he is active in the AFC Championship or Super Bowl.
Okay. Appreciate that, Silos. So he spent his first 7 years with Green Bay behind the first couple of years Jordy Nelson and Ronald Cobb, but he did get 4 years where he was, the number 1 guy with Aaron Rodgers. And, if you've ever seen these two play together, it's fucking magic whenever they're playing together, man. The things that they were able to accomplish together is truly spectacular. So the fact that they're back together, I know Devontae's 32, he's getting up there in age, but he's still got some time left. And obviously Aaron is not, the young guy that he was back then. Now approaching early 40s, I want to say. So it's going to be interesting. Problem is Aaron Rodgers still has no one protecting him. I mean, the fact is on Monday's game against the Bills, he got sacked 4 times. Okay, he just has no protection. He's getting sacked left and right. Now, granted, I actually think he's actually performing better than people are giving him credit for, especially in that last game against the Bills. He actually made some pretty good plays, in my opinion, that, the play wasn't there, it broke down, and he was able to make a play on a lot of the time. So, he has solid stats. I'm not going to blame him altogether for these Jets. Obviously, he's not playing what he once was, but I still don't think he's playing, all too bad. The Vikings game was pretty fucking bad. He fucking barely had 50% completion attempts. And before that, so... yeah, I can see why people are giving him shit. He's not playing well in certain games. But, again, he's not getting protection. All right, when you're being swallowed up without no line, it's going to be hard for you to convert. So this is going to help with him having I mean, not that he didn't have a true wide receiver one, but now he has Devontae Adams, who he already has a connection with, and they actually have a pretty good bond. So it's going to help him a lot, and they're going to improve, but like I don't see them doing as good a boost at what Amari's going to do for the Bills. That's just my take on it. But we'll have to see, man. There's too many problems on the Jets right now for them to just get such a boost from just a wide receiver. But granted, it's Devontae Adams, but you know what I mean. Go ahead, Silas.
Yeah, I think this is a great move for Devontae Adams' career. The Jets, I think, here's the thing, to be honest with you. Aaron Rodgers, he just, if he doesn't like a coach, they're out. He didn't like Saleh, so he's out. He didn't like McCarthy, so he was out. If he don't like you, you're going to be gone. They're going to do whatever he wants. But it's a great move for Devontae Adams because, now he's going to be able to, actually catch the ball because they have such a great connection. At the start of the year, I figured, the Jets were going to be okay. Maybe go 8-9. With Devontae Adams, I have them going 9-8. I mean, just one over 500. But I don't see them winning this division. I don't see them making the playoffs. Realistically speaking, I mean, the only person that won out of this trade is, again, Devontae Adams, because his stock is going to rise because people are going to see what he can do. Obviously, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, man, he can still get it. He can still throw it, man. I mean, we all saw that. For some reason, he throws Hail Marys, and those Hail Marys are answered. We just saw it this past, what was it, on Monday, right? If I'm not mistaken. He threw a Hail Mary at the end of the half, and that Hail Mary was answered. And it was a tied game all the way to the end of and they lost by 3. So, this gives them a little edge because now, again, Devontae Adams and him have this special connection that a quarterback receiver duo should have. Because Devontae Adams knows that if he's going to run a post, but, he knows that if he knows that Rodgers is going to end up in some kind of trouble, he's going to do something to adjust so that way Aaron Rodgers can still throw the ball to him. And him and Aaron Rodgers know, like, okay, he's gonna know that I'm not gonna throw the post. I'm gonna throw a quick like, slant or something. It doesn't matter. They know each other to where it's going to change. It's gonna change how they play the game. And granted, they do have a right receiver. God, I can't really think of his name. What's his name for the Jets? And he's number 1 receiver right now. Goodness gracious, Garrett Wilson. He's gonna help him too because at the end of the day, like, who are you gonna double cover? Either Garrett Wilson or Devontae Adams, and you really can't.
You can't forget Alan Lazard too. He's also going to be the third guy on that Jets team.
Yeah, but I mean, Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams are just a tad above him. I mean,
I'm just saying he's got skill. He's going to help a lot.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm not. Again, it's going to also increase his stock too because now he has 3 receivers. And two of which he's previously played because Alan Lazard, he played with him in Green Bay as well. Garrett Wilson is getting to know him. So, I mean, again, I do see that it's a good trade mostly for Devontae Adams. I mean, because I don't see them, improving too much with him. But we'll see. Only time will tell. I mean, I could be wrong, and next thing you know, they go undefeated for the next, 5 consecutive games.
Right. So I just wanted to make my final comment here. Devontae Adams got so he wanted out of Green Bay, presumably because they wouldn't pay him. And he got money from Vegas where they would pay him with the Raiders. And he saw shit wasn't as sweet as it was with Aaron Rodgers, I'm guessing. Obviously, Derek Carr ain't no Aaron Rodgers, all right? So, it's funny that he sees that the grass ain't always green on the other side, man. So he went right back to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see what they're going to do. It's going to be exciting. I definitely am going to start catching more of the Jets games now, pay more attention to them, just because I want to see the connection again. It was truly electric what these guys had over in Green Bay when they were playing together. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Bit of a long episode. I'm going to have to do some cutting because it's definitely some opportunities to cut some stuff. But what's the time? What we at?
Minute 33. An hour 33.
Oh, that's not bad. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. You guys for listening at this point. I mean, really hope the fucking Dodgers don't advance because then I got a problem on my hands for real. So, this man's going to keep flexing on me. But, hey, at the end of the day, man, even if the Dodgers do win a World Series, there's always the Golden Gate Bridge. No, I'm just kidding. But,
I'll be there.
I'm gonna have to deal with a lot of shit, man. It's gonna be annoying because this one won't be a Mickey Mouse run at this point. It'll be a legitimate championship because that shit's still illegitimate. I don't care what people say, but yeah, we'll see, man. A lot of exciting things. October's always fun. We are gonna start talking NHL. We just need more time to prep for that shit, do our own research, watch some games before we can form any opinions on these things. Because we both of us are definitely casuals when it comes to hockey. But I think the Ducks won today, which is nice. If I'm not mistaken, they did. They won 5-4 in OT. So the Ducks, regular season's up. We're at 2-1, and the Kings lost 6-2 against the Maple Leafs. So haha, fuck you. We're at a better record than you right now. We're third in the PAC, sir. So in your face, Pacific, of course. So yeah, I finally get one over you, sir. Yes. And the Anaheim versus LA run, we're doing better. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, go ahead, send us off. Shilos, give us your final thoughts. If you want to comment on the NHL shit, go ahead.
Well, thank you guys again for listening. And again, always, I always like to thank our men and women of our military. Thank you for everything you guys do. Yeah, you're right. It's October. Playoff baseball. We have the WNBA finals. We have NHL just starting. NBA ready to start. So it's getting exciting, man, for sports. So I can't wait. And then, like I've said, and we've had conversations about this around week 8. That's when, once week 8's done, you really know who's the contender and who's the pretender. And, sometimes you have those that have lost and can make a comeback. And in this case, to be honest with you, just because of the trade for Devontae Adams, I mean, the Jets could go from, pretenders to contenders. So we'll see. I mean, only time will tell. But after week 8, I'll start being able to tell you, like, hey, I think these guys are going to do it and these guys won't. But again, thank you guys for listening. If you don't have any more to say, we're out.
Let's cut it, baby. Thank you.
Have a good one, man. Thank you for listening.